Hey there, folks. Welcome to another edition of Stranger in a Southern Land. I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning. Today on the program, I have a good friend in Alex Anderson on the program today. Me and Alex have been performing improv together for the last 6 or 8 months, and I really enjoy doing improv with her because she's just a very nice and sweet girl, and I just love coming into a scene and just destroying whatever environment she's creating. But she's creating a lot of things, she's doing a lot of things, and I think that's why I wanted to sit down and talk to her. She's doing so much stuff, and I just want to get inside of her mind and be like, why are you, as a young individual, you're diversifying yourself so well? Like she does aerial silks here in Charlotte, which is kind of, I understand it, she wraps herself up in a long silk scarf that's being hung from the ceiling and does artistic movement. I have a feeling Alex explains that a lot better on the program today than I just did, so please hang in for her explanation of what aerial silks are. I'm sure it's far better than what I just did right there. But Alex is a very interesting individual, very young woman who is doing a lot of things, and she's posting a lot of stuff on YouTube, and that's really what I wanted to get into with her, because she's really plugged into that culture of what's going on YouTube and YouTube celebrities, and there's a lot of discussion about that, and I wanted to have a talk with her about that and all the things that entails, and who are these people, who are the people I should be paying attention to, and how did they get this following? And it's a question that we probably can't even answer, but I think we bounce a lot of ideas off each other, and hopefully you guys are the benefit of that, and maybe we can all be knowledgeable of it. But it's a fascinating conversation nonetheless. But I think the biggest takeaway from the conversation I had with Alex is it kind of inspired me to get off my rear end and start posting all the past episodes of Stranger in a Southern Land on YouTube. So it's on my YouTube page right now. If you look up Man Scout Manning on YouTube, you will find my YouTube page. So please subscribe to my YouTube page, and you get to see all the past episodes of Stranger in a Southern Land and all the future episodes of Stranger in a Southern Land. So I highly encourage you to do that, and I can't thank Alex enough for kind of inspiring me and getting me off my hump to go do that. I've been kind of in a jilted relationship with YouTube, and she just kind of explained to me that I need to get over it. So I did, and I guess I'm back on the YouTube train, at least for now. But the one train that I'm very happy to be a part of since day one, and hopefully they don't kick me out and I get jilted like I did on YouTube, but I doubt it very highly, because these guys are fantastic, and that is Shining Wizards Podcast Network. You know, speaking of past episodes and future episodes, if you want to hear and listen to past episodes and future episodes of Stranger in a Southern Land, they are available at shiningwizardsnetwork.com. They're fantastic. They're supporting what we're doing over here. They let me do my thing. I'm letting them do their thing, and we're coming together. It's like two cool kids table being able to work together and grow together, and that's what's so great about Shining Wizards. Let me do my thing, they do their thing, and we come together and we make our things bigger. So thank you, Shining Wizards, for all the support that you give me, and I can't thank you enough. Speaking of Cool Kids Table, the Cool Kids Table is going on the road and going around and doing comedy and wrestling and all kinds of things. So I want to throw some dates at you, let you guys know what's going on. If you listen to this podcast in a timely fashion when it drops on Monday, tomorrow, Tuesday, February 23rd, I will be doing Carlos Valencia's Charlotte Comedy Awards at Crown Station, and that's going to be a very emotional one because Crown Station is closing very soon, and Crown Station is the building where a lot of the Charlotte comedians have, first performed, and now it's going to be closing because of progress. So this will probably be the last time that Carlos runs a show at Crown Station. So I highly recommend that you come out Tuesday, February 23rd for the Charlotte Comedy Awards, hosted by Carlos Valencia. Then this Friday, February 26th, Big Time Wrestling and Omega Championship Wrestling team up to bring wrestling back to Dorton Arena, the historic Dorton Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. 2 big cage matches on the card. Matt Hardy is going to be there. Road Warrior Animal is going to be there. All kinds of big celebrities and wrestling stars will be there and available for meet and greet sessions. So make sure you show up this Friday, February 26th at Dorton Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. And more information about that show at btwpro.com. Then this Sunday, February 28th, is the Season 2 debut of Funny on the Fly. I was a part of Season 1. Now Season 2 is coming back, so I'm very thankful to be a part of that. So make sure you come out to the Charlotte Comedy Zone this Sunday, February 28th. Then Tuesday, March 1st. I'm very excited about this one. I'll be doing the Groovy Tuesdays down in Anderson, South Carolina at the Mellow Mushroom in Anderson, South Carolina. I hear this is a great room. It's getting a lot of local pub down there, so I highly recommend if you live in the Greenville or the Anderson, South Carolina area, make sure you come out for Groovy Tuesdays at 7 p.m. at the Mellow Mushroom in Anderson, South Carolina. Now, if there's any more dates or anything that's going to come up in between now and then, or you need more information about those shows, make sure you follow me on social media, and it's very easy to do. I am available on Twitter at ManScoutManning and on Instagram at ManScoutManning. If you have a question about the podcast, make sure you email me at jake@sslshow.com, or if you want to book me for an upcoming wrestling event, make sure you email me at manscoutmanning@yahoo.com. Anyways, without further ado, let's jump into this wonderful conversation with Alex Anderson here on Stranger in a Southern Land. Now it's happening. See, you're tricky. I can't pull the trick on you.
It's because I watched one where you tried to pull the trick, or you talked about how you couldn't pull the trick because you do everything. So I was like, now I'm prepared.
Yeah, see, that's the trick, is to catch you off guard. So we just always get like, oh, we're rolling. Oh, okay. To catch you off guard, and so I hit you with stuff, But you're savvy pro. You're not gonna
savvy.
You're not gonna fall for that.
I did my research.
Did you research? And also, you see, you're smart enough to realize that there's a red light.
Yes.
So
I know how this works.
You know how this works. So you've seen one. You noted that I've got the big introduction and everything, so we don't got to go through all that. But we're already in it and stuff like that. I'm sitting here with Alex Anderson. I don't know, a jack of all trades or a Jill of all trades, I would say.
Sure.
We could say that.
Except girly things.
Girly things.
Yeah, I can't really do girly things.
You can't do girly things at all?
No, I'm really bad at hair, drawing, organizing.
Mm-hmm.
Writing neatly.
Okay.
Legibly. Yeah. Okay.
So you're not one of those girls that put the little hearts to dot your eyes with, then?
I do, but they don't look like hearts. They just look like messy.
Okay.
Messy dots.
Okay. But anyways, to start this thing, what I like to do is tell an embarrassing story about myself to get everybody comfortable with talking. Because if I embarrass myself right away, then it'll be okay.
Okay, good.
Part of the reason we got around to doing this interview is I was having a discussion with my girlfriend of potential guests and who I should be having on the podcast. And she made the comment that you need to have more pretty girls on the podcast. And I was like, well, I'm not really allowed to talk to too many pretty girls. Not that my girlfriend has forbidden me, but I'm just saying the pretty girl union made it illegal for me to talk to them somewhere around the early 1990s.
That's the thing.
Yeah, so it's this is the thing. You're well aware of this legislation that's come down.
Okay, yes.
Yes. Sure. Yes, and it. But anyways, and I was like, I know Alex, and Alex seems to be doing a lot of stuff. Like you do aerial silks, you post content online on YouTube, you do improv with me, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff that we'll uncover in this podcast that more people should know about.
Sure.
And also too, I don't get a lot of opportunity to talk to you a lot of times in improv, and I don't talk to a lot of people out in the public. It seems like when I'm on camera and I'm required to produce an hour's worth of content, I can have a wonderful conversation. So you seem like a nice girl. You fit the qualification of a pretty girl. So therefore, this is the Pretty Girl Podcast, but it's going to be filled with some fantastic content. So I'm very excited about
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yes.
And nervous. I'm sweating a little bit.
So me too. Well, we started off on a bad foot. You showed up in my office and
that's not a bad foot.
Yeah.
I learned something new. I learned something new about the wrestling world. So
well, you saw this. You saw the dirty secret of my life is that office.
Dirty secret?
The highspots.com office. It's like my dirty secret of life.
Why is that a dirty secret?
Well, because I don't tell people that I I just say I work for an online company. I'm a video editor.
Oh.
Or if I just say I work for an online wrestling merchandise company, people are like, oh, okay, that's cool. And they never think much about it. But you saw the epicenter of crazy.
Yeah.
That place.
There's a lot of crazy going on. There's a lot of stuff on the
Yeah,
walls.
and you were coming in probably about the time that they were working on the subscription boxes. And Caleb was getting ready to leave for Florida probably pretty soon. So
they were talking about sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody left their car door open. That's about it. That's all I saw.
Okay. Well, that seems very
Too
benign.
many secrets, yeah.
This seems very benign of what goes on there.
Oh.
There's a lot of stuff that goes
Dun,
on.
dun, dun. I gotta work on my bass. Dun, dun, dun. There we go.
There we go. Yeah. But anyways, Alex, tell me some of the, like, let's talk about some of the things that you do as opposed to the dirty secrets that I keep in my closet.
Okay.
Okay. One thing that I find intriguing about you is you do these aerial silks. Is that what they're called? Like,
Yes.
I don't even know what to call them. I remember, I think I said something to you. You was like, you hang from the ceiling. Like,
Yeah,
I called
people call them curtains. People call
Curtains.
them pieces of fabric.
Yeah.
Usually it's aerial silk. Some people call it tissue. I think that's more of like overseas. They call it that. Like if you look up the hashtag tissue on Instagram, you find a lot of aerial silk stuff.
Okay.
But you can call them aerials or aerial silks, tissue, hanging from curtains, whatever. We'll know what you're
Hanging
talking
from
about.
curtains.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's fun. It's just a lot of fun. It's a good workout. You don't realize you're working out. It's pretty. It hurts. I've got some really bad bruises this week.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get, talk to you last time I was trying to talk to you about this was like, that scares the crap out of me as someone who jumps off the top rope and trying to avoid landing on my head. Like your legs are basically wrapped up in just curtains, basically.
Yeah.
And then you flip upside down and you have faith that the curtains will not unfurl and you land directly on your head.
It's totally safe.
Explain to me how it's totally safe.
Well,
Okay.
the studio that I go to is Ariel Charlotte, and they are very careful that you walk through everything that you do before you actually do it. Like when we learn a drop, they first demonstrate what you do, and then they make you walk through it, and they watch everybody, and then they make you walk through the drop by walking it down, which is usually more painful than actually dropping.
Now explain to me what the drop is.
A drop is when you wrap yourself in a lot of different ways, and then at some point you let go and either fall forward or backwards or sideways, and then eventually it catches you. Mm-hmm. It's just when there's like a whoosh moment. That's usually the moment that people get really excited about silks. Like there's always the pretty things that people do, and it's really nice, but there's always that moment where you can tell they're building up to something, and then they just let go, and everybody's like, ah! Those are the drops.
Yep.
Those are the fun things.
Okay, you find those fun.
Yeah.
Those scare me. I try to avoid those as much as possible.
They're so fun. Most of them. Some of them hurt more than they are fun, but most of the time they're just fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get involved with it? And you talked a little bit more about, the studio here in Charlotte, and give them a plug and everything else, and explain that.
When I first started off about 3 years ago. I started with a studio in Columbia, South Carolina called Fuel Fitness and Dance. It's now Fuel Aerial and Dance. And I was just looking for something new to try. I was going through a breakup. I was going through a crisis. And
That's how it starts.
That's
how I got into wrestling.
Really?
Yes. A girl broke my heart. I was like, I'll show you. I'll become famous. Little did I know.
Heartbreak is always like the worst thing. But one of my best friends was doing it. We weren't best friends at the time. We were just friends. And she was doing silks, and I was seeing her pictures, and I was like, I want to know what that girl's doing. I want to try that. So I started going to classes and became obsessed with it, and just started going like 2-3 times a week. I did that for about 2 years, and then I moved up here, and I got sidetracked. Another relationship, and got sidetracked. Wasn't really doing any of the things that I like to do. Didn't have any of my hobbies going, because I was just focused on, I'm in a new city and I've got a new guy and I don't know what I'm doing. And then that went south, so I was like, well, I guess it's time to get back into my stuff. So I
have all this free time now.
I have all this free time. I can do things.
That's Joe. Like, I think John Mulaney said one time on a podcast one time to Pete Holmes, like, I remember when you broke up with a girl, and my advice to you was, well, you have a lot of free time to get stuff done.
Yep.
That's the truth.
It's accurate, completely accurate.
Absolutely.
So then I started at Ariel Charlotte, or Ariel CLT. That's how you type it. Back in last March. And now I started out once a week, had to build back up. That was really frustrating when you get to a certain level of something and you stop doing it and you have to build back up. That is the worst. But yeah, I think now I'm kind of back at the level that I was when I quit, or took a hiatus. I didn't quit.
What were the things that you had to build back up? Was it just strength?
Flexibility, how to, like, there was so many things that I knew how to do. Like, I knew how to rap, and I knew how to get into these positions, and I just physically could not do them. And when you learn them, like when I learned them the first time, I was like, oh yeah, this is easy. But it was because I had been building up to that. And then when I stopped doing that, you lose that muscle memory and those movements that you have to do. You forget how to finagle. And yeah, it was really frustrating. I didn't expect it to be that way. I was kind of like, oh no, I'll pick it right up. I'm still in fairly good shape. No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. Oh no. And now I'm just now at the point where I'm kind of like, yeah, I feel the muscles in my back again, and I feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm back in shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's being in shape, it's your version of CrossFit in a sense.
I guess so, yeah.
but
Ooh, that's scary. There's a CrossFit studio right next to Ariel Charlotte, and I see the tires are sitting outside, and I've heard stories about people having to flip the tires, and they always are out running when I get there for my class. I'm like, no. No cardio, no thank you.
Not a fan?
Not a fan. I'd try to do it. Like, I don't hate cardio. I don't want to say I hate cardio, because sometimes I can get in the mindset to do it and kind of go off in la land and get it done. But it hurts.
See, I think I balance between cardio and lifting weights. I alternate days, and I'd rather do empty stomach cardio every morning.
Really?
Oh yeah. But far more than I ever would like my weight workout. But I've been lifting weights since I was like 12, and now I'm 33. So, like, I'm just very bored with it.
You don't get hungry, and like the hunger pang doesn't like distract you and make you mad.
Well, it makes me mad. It doesn't distract me.
It makes me mad, and it just makes me want to stop and I don't know. It makes me want to stop and walk and get angry, and then I'm like, that makes it take longer time to get home and eat than if I just kept going.
Oh, I'm all elliptical. I'm not running distance.
You're not running.
I can't do that. My knees were already bad enough as it is, and now that I have a torn ACL, that's not happening.
Oh no! When did you do that?
April of last year.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm fine.
I always hear horror stories about that, about the ACL. Yeah, it's so hard to recover from.
Exactly. That's why I haven't had the surgery, and I have no intent to recover from it. Just stay where I'm at.
That works.
Because apparently you don't need your ACL, apparently, from what I was told.
Oh.
From my doctor.
What?
He said, and also he said too, if I was in he said sometimes, I think Sweden or something like that, like a certain Norwegian country, like just the way they walk for whatever reason, like you're less likely to need your ACL whatsoever. Like over there, they don't even if you tear it, it's not that big a deal because of the way they walk. They would never need it to be. So that's what he was saying to me, that it's not that necessary. I could live my life exactly like this. Only problem is if the zombie apocalypse happens and I need to run and jump and do more stuff like that.
Yeah, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think one day we were running inside to improv when it was like pouring down rain, and like that had been the first time that I had run on concrete, probably since I tore my ACL, and it was kind of like this, and like I could have slipped and it could have really messed it up even more.
Yeah.
But like I still had enough stability to do that. So that was encouraging.
Yeah.
So it might be okay in the zombie apocalypse. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think you'll be fine. You got enough wrestling moves. I think you could take the zombies, right?
Yeah, I just gotta avoid being bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Don't just avoid Mike Tyson zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think all of them would be like Mike Tyson zombies because they're all.
Oh yeah. Well, then avoid all of them.
Avoid all. But anyways, back to tissues, if you will.
Yeah.
Back to tissues. You also do performances. Like you just did one at like the Chop Shop. Like,
yeah.
It's a performance art. Like really, is it, or is it more of a workout thing? Because that's where I'm confused.
Yeah. I really like the performance aspect of it, but there's just not as many opportunities to perform. Occasionally they do. We can volunteer to do little promo things like a couple weekends ago, Ariel Charlotte was at the Unknown Brewery, and they set up a rig, and they had people do performances. I don't know if they actually like came up with routines to do. I'm assuming they came up with something. Each girl came up with something. So there's opportunities like that, but they do twice a year. They do student performances or student showcases, and that's where we get to like do the costumes and pick the song and do that, and that's a lot of fun. And I mean, I'm sure there's some girls that are like working up to go out on their own and be performers, and I would like to perform here and there, but that's not my ultimate goal. Like it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Is that you just want to do it? That's the goal with it. Is
Yeah,
just have fun with it.
When there's opportunities to perform, do that, and some of my friends are there now, and it's just a good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just hanging out. That's the thing. Yeah. But you are a performing person.
Yes.
Yes.
I've danced my entire life, and that's kind of how, like, I've danced from when I was 2 years old. I started tap, and then tap, jazz, and ballet. I used to teach dance, and then when I got to college, there weren't really any adult dance classes in the city I was in, so I kind of got out of it, and then the Silks happened. It was kind of a natural thing.
Yeah, because it sounds like the similar progression to my sister. Like, I remember being drugged to my sister's dance recitals and practices.
Oh.
And they had to be downstairs, and I was upstairs stuck, like, waiting for them to finish. Like, because my mom could go down there, but I wasn't allowed to go down there, so I was just, like, stuck upstairs.
They wouldn't let you go down there and watch?
No. Well, I was unruly. I would have been making fun of people, so it was probably best that I wasn't. I think there's a very good reason why I wasn't there. But, I mean, anyways, that was always my experience with dance. And, of course, my sister picked it back up in college and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really weird. Like, if you're an adult and you want to dance like that, there's really not a lot of...
No, it's hard to find. I found a couple of studios here, and I've done that off and on. At Open Door Studio, they have, like, adult hip-hop. They have, like, a $5 happy hour hip-hop on Fridays. And I would do that occasionally, but it's not... It wasn't the same, and there was never performances that I could get involved in. Like, you have to be in a company, usually, if you wanted to do a performance. So when I saw the Silk stuff, I just started it for fun, and they were like, oh, yeah, student recitals. And I was like, what? I guess it works. I was like, I get to perform again. So, yeah, that's kind of how I get my performance. That and improv now kind of get the performance bug out there, I guess, the need. Doing all these hand gestures. They can't see them. Well, I guess you can see them.
Yeah. I'm video and audio. I'm video and audio. So these things.
All these things. Media.
Okay.
Sweating again.
You and me both. But like, where did the performance bug start with you? Like, were you always like a child that just wanted the attention, or where did that come from?
Yeah, I was always a kid that wanted attention. There's home videos. Like, I have two older sisters. They're 9 and 7 years older than me. They're like, now we're 8.5 and 6.5 or whatever. 9 and 7 years older than me. And I was kind of at the time where that was when people started really recording a lot of stuff. Like, you had the big thing.
There was a time where, like, parents just went crazy, and then they went away for it for a while.
Yeah.
And then now it's insane.
Yep. So that was kind of that time period, 89. And then so my dad always had this big camcorder on his shoulder, and you can hear me in the background. Once I was able to talk, you can hear me in the background like, Daddy, get me. And then he'd put the camera on me, and I'm like, not doing anything, just cheesing. But once the cameras became smaller and I became bigger, I used to make my friends act stuff out, and I would direct them, or I would just like take the camera and dance in my room and record it. And I went to drama camp one year and got all these scenes. Like, we did so much scene work and musical theater work, and I'd come back and I'd make my friends do it with me. I'm sure they really enjoyed that. There were some things, even looking back on it, they were miserable that I was making them do these dramatic scenes. Like, I'm sorry, got to be a director. Was there no like drama club in high school, or was it what? Or was it just? I went to a really small high school. I'm from a really small town.
Where from and how small?
Mullins, South Carolina.
Okay.
I went to a school where I graduated with 50 people in my class, and we didn't have a drama club until my senior year, and it was tiny. And I wasn't that. We had one play, and it was a Charlie Brown Christmas Story, and I was Snoopy. Of course I was.
Of course it was.
Had to be the dog. And
Well, the star of the show, technically.
Technically.
Technically, because Snoopy's going to steal the show.
Yeah. Forget Charlie Brown. Whatever. Yeah. Forget Linus with his speech about Jesus and stuff. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I grew up in a small town as well. Like my graduating class was 21.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's kind of how my sisters were. Their classes were smaller than mine.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
Preston, Iowa.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a tiny, tiny town.
Yeah, well, actually, Spragueville is where I lived. Preston is where I went to school. Preston was a town of probably about 800 people. Spragueville was a town of 82 people.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with everybody?
Through Facebook.
Yeah.
Like our class reunion was basically that's the thing, class reunions are just kind of pointless. Like they tried to do one this year and only 10 people signed up. And I was just and they were giving everybody guilt trips. We haven't had enough people. I'm like, there are 21 of us. This is 50%.
Yeah, start a group chat on Facebook. And
yeah. Last time I went home on a camping trip with 4 of you, that was basically a class reunion too.
Yeah.
What do you expect here?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was growing up in a small town. It's really weird, but it's really cool in the sense that you get to kind of do whatever you want. You could have played sports, you could have done the drama club, you could have been a National Honor Society, so you could have been the geek, the jock, a
little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Yep.
Because that's the cool thing I think about growing up in a small town. Do you see it the same way, or what are your thoughts on it?
I would say people will tell me about their high school experience, and they're like, "So what were you in high school?" And I'm like, I don't really know what I was in high school. There were definitely, everybody kind of had their groups. I mean, there was 50 something, and you had your groups that you naturally went to. You're 3 or 4 people that you had lunch with. But some years I played sports. Most of the time I was teaching dance. It was kind of all over the place. And a lot of my friends were kind of, you had the people who were athletic, but it wasn't.
Nobody was off on clicks because you needed everybody to participate in everything so everybody could do everything.
Exactly.
Because you needed, especially for us in sports, it was I was not very good at anything other than track and field. Track and field I was good at.
So you're so athletic.
Yeah, I'm athletic, but I still probably don't understand what football is about.
Really?
That's why they put me as an offensive lineman. At least I was, smart enough to hit the guy in front of me and make sure nobody got past me. Understanding those concepts, and being a defensive lineman, just run and get the guy with the ball. That's pretty much all I know about it when it comes to defenses and other stuff. It's over my head. And basketball was too skill oriented for me as well.
Basketball's hard.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is though, my friends were good basketball players, and obviously for our class to have enough people to participate in basketball, I would always, especially in junior high, I would have to be out for basketball. Plus, I came from a big basketball family and other stuff, so that was always a big thing, is participate in everything. And because I helped them participate in football and basketball, I needed more people to come out, so we had a track team, so they would always go out for track to help me out that way. So it was always this isn't really my sport. Really, I should be focused on this one sport, but I'll play this one sport so you can help me out with another sport later. Because if there's not enough, then the school won't waste their time with it. So you learn that sense of cooperation. And then, of course, when we get out in the real world, cooperation doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work with tradesies.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. It doesn't. Right. Just that idea of, I'll help you out, you help me out. And it seems like just, small town mentality. It doesn't seem to translate
to every aspect. No.
And especially in the entertainment part of it. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes. So what other acting and performing ventures? I've seen your YouTube page. You've got stuff on there. You did that a little web series for a short period of time, and now you're doing a little YouTube show thing and unboxing videos and all kinds of things. Yeah. What are you trying to accomplish here?
What am I doing here?
What are you doing here? That's what I want to know.
It started out as I wanted to do a little morning show, because my ultimate dream is to be a hybrid of Kelly Ripa and Ellen DeGeneres. I love both of them, and for some odd reason, even though I'm not a big morning person, the older I get, the more morning oriented I get, I guess, or I appreciate mornings more. I've always really liked the idea of morning shows, and I just think that I want my life to be like a morning show. It just is a fun, light, happy mood, and it's kind of silly. They do things that you're like, why are you doing this? But like they play the games, they do the little phone games, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They call somebody and they have number games or whatever. But I was like, I'll start my own little morning show called Live Laugh Latte, and I'll make a new latte because I used to be a barista, so I can do that, right? And then I'll talk about things and kind of motivate people and make them happy. And then it became a lot of trouble. Just because the espresso machine I got was not very good, and it turns out I'm not very good at making lattes at all, really. At Starbucks, I was a barista at Starbucks. There's a formula for how everything goes. Follow the formula, and the latte tastes the same everywhere you go. That's their thing. When you're left to your own devices, it doesn't work that way. So I'm not, and when I said I'm not good at girly things, that's what I'm like. I'm not good at like measuring things out and making really pretty and tasty lattes. Like I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go buy a latte. It just kind of when I would watch it back, I didn't like how it would flow. So I kind of put that on hiatus. So I was like, you know what? I still kind of have this urge to put these YouTube videos out because I've always been a huge fan of YouTube. I follow so many people on YouTube. I've been watching YouTube and following YouTubers since 2006 and 7.
Where's that come from? This is the meat of the interview I wanted to get to. So
YouTube? Okay.
I'm just intrigued by, like, you're obviously younger than me. I can guess because I'm an old man. And you're of a younger generation that it seems like to me they, instead of getting, forget the phone.
So you have a phone call. Is that a landline?
Yeah. That's a big source of contention in this house. We have a landline, so in case we need to dial 911.
I was about to say that's a good thing.
That is the only reason why we really have it. But
Smart.
really, all we've done is just open ourselves up to telemarketers calling all hours of the day. So
that's probably smart to have that though, in case something happens. There's no zombie apocalypse and there's no cell reception.
Yeah, but I
don't know who would answer.
I'm relying on myself in the zombie apocalypse. I'm not relying on the government's help.
Touche.
That's the thing I've learned from movies.
They'll probably start it.
Yes. This is true. Not so worried about them. But anyways, about you seem to be of a generation of a lot of people that are forgotten. They don't get cable packages. They're looking solely just watching YouTube and Netflix and looking for that's their source of entertainment.
Yeah.
And like people really get into it. Like when I listen to people talk about stuff, it's always like, oh, I'm YouTube and that's all. I saw this on YouTube. I see this on YouTube, and now you're posting stuff on YouTube, and like, what's your fascination with it? Hold on, this phone's going. Hold on.
They're not gonna let you go. They want to talk to you. I don't know what to do. What do I do with my hands? It's still ringing. It's not ringing anymore. He stopped it. He's clapping. That's okay.
I'm really more professional when it comes to this.
Oh, you were supposed to control that phone. I'm really upset that you didn't control that phone.
Anyways, I was going into this long thing. I've come back. Now this is probably where I'll put a nice edit point in. Anyways, like the fascination of content online, and it's solely your form base of entertainment and stuff like that. I'm fascinated by this because I've always stuck to traditional media, and like I feel like just because I'm a little bit of that age where we just put the TV on and that's a form of entertainment. The idea of I just hunt around for whatever I look for, and that's what my form of entertainment. Like, when did that start for you, and like why is that your particular habits as well? Is just let's see what's on YouTube.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I guess I go through phases. Every now and then I go home and I'll put on SVU or Seinfeld in the background and let that run. Which is great when I live alone. Just want to hear about rape and murder in the background. But YouTube started I've always been kind of an internet junkie. Like, I always had like a live journal. I got my first laptop in like 7th grade. So I was always online, talking to friends, doing whatever. YouTube, 2006, 2007, that was like my freshman year of college.
Okay.
And I had a TV, but it was tiny. It was just, I mean, I was already on the internet for homework and research, and then you just get distracted and you kind of go search other things. And I found people on YouTube, and you get invested. Like, you find these people that I've been following since 2006. I've met a couple of them because I went and hunted them down at VidCon.
Well, like you talk about these people that are YouTube celebrities. Like, what type of content?
Bloggers.
Yeah, like what type of content are they producing? Like, what are they putting out there?
They can put out anything. That's the beauty of it, is that you can, like, there's this one girl that I've just gotten into. Her name is Graveyard Girl. She's been on there forever. She's one of the OG YouTubers. She has one of the biggest followings, one of the top paid YouTubers. Graveyard Girl. She goes by the name Bunny. And I mean, she posts whatever she wants, but what she's most famous for, she started out as doing like paranormal vlogs, and then it kind of went into, she's very into fashion, so she started doing like fashion videos, and then it evolved to her doing makeup tutorials, and now she does makeup tutorials. She does tea vlogs where she just talks to people, like just talks to the camera about whatever she wants to while drinking tea. That's one I watched today. It was 21 minutes long, and I was just so engrossed at what this girl had to say about her hairdryer.
But why? Though?
I know, that's the thing. She's captivating. Like, that you start to watch these people, and you don't 100% know why you're so attracted to them, but you are, and then you get invested, and you want to know what's going on. It kind of feels like home. It feels like they're talking to you. Like, it feels like you're having a conversation with them, and it's just, but there's no pressure to respond. So you're just like listening to someone talk, like, yes, I feel less alone now, and I feel like I know you. So it's like you have a friend there, but there's no pressure, and it makes you feel happy. Like, you're invested.
Yeah, because it boggles me, because when YouTube was first around and it got big and popular, definitely around 2006, I was already working for my online wrestling merchandise company, and we saw it just strictly as a promotional tool. So anytime I was ever on there, it was a matter of posting content, figuring out how to get more hits, and trying to look at it as a mathematical equation. And then, of course, there are those people that you're talking about that get these... It's
unexplainable. And
thousands of hits.
Yeah, she gets like 1 million views almost every video.
Yeah.
And she'll just be unboxing like toys. Or she has this series called "Does This Thing Really Work?" And it's about, like, she tests these as seen on TV products.
Yeah.
She tests those, which is really interesting, because you always wonder, do those things really work? That was a genius idea on her part. But other than that, like, why are 1 million people watching this girl talk to a camera in her car while drinking tea? It's unexplainable.
You're one of the people watching them.
I'm one of the people watching
and that's what I'm trying to, because you are a consumer and also now a content generator in a sense. So I'm trying to get that. I've solely just been a content generator. Like, anytime I've ever wanted to watch anything, like, YouTube's almost sometimes the last place I look.
Really?
Yeah. I'll Google.
You go to Vimeo?
I Google search, figure out where it is, and sometimes and especially like wrestling stuff, like a lot of pro wrestlers now, if they want to like look up like a certain wrestler, like, or if they know who they're going to wrestle upcoming weekend, they'll just YouTube them. Well, I have a library available to me, in the back that's extensive. And if I want to look up somebody, I can. But also, too, a lot of times, the content that's out there is sometimes posted illegally. So that's always been a double-edged sword with me. Like, oh, this match shouldn't be out for free. But now everything's changed. Now people are putting out so much for free now. Like, there's a lot of wrestlers that are putting out their matches for free, and that's how they're getting over, is because their matches are getting certain views, as opposed to ones that wrestle for companies that control their content. It's like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It'd be like if, the only way to see Walking Dead, back to zombies, that Walking Dead was on this particular AMC, and AMC was pretty regulated and to pay directly to just get the AMC network, for which you do because your cable packages. But what if there is this other zombie show that's on YouTube for free that people are putting out there, and that tends to get more hits, and that becomes almost just as popular as this one that's paid? And that's kind of the weird thing that's going on with my industry with YouTube right now. So I'm just very curious, because you like I said, you're on both sides of this fence. You seem very kind of plugged into what's going on, at least in a sense.
In a sense.
You know, like you've got an idea of, but like you're one of those millions of people that watch those videos, and you say it's mostly because you just want to connect with somebody. Is that what it is?
There's the connection there. I'm invested in these people, but I'm still finding new YouTubers that I for whatever reason, like there's this guy, his name is Rob Dyke, and he puts out, like, he produces shows and puts them on YouTube. He does like a Seriously Strange series where it's just about strange things, like 10 weirdest something. He does serial killer files. He does this series called Social Autopsy. Like, he's producing a well put together show, and he has other people that are helping him. Like, it's kind of like he's a TV producer, but it's for YouTube. And I'm guessing that the only way he gets paid is ad revenue. But it's a little bit of all of that. Like, I follow him and I follow his series, but after I started following his series, I was like, I'm really intrigued by this guy. And then I found his vlog channel. Now I'm watching his vlogs where he's just talking about, like, he does question and answers. It's just kind of that. It's the same thing as back in the day with like classic Hollywood stars. You wanted to know about them. It's like the tabloids. Like, people buy tabloids. And I hate tabloids, but I like vlog channels where there's drama. So I guess it's whatever. Tomato. It's kind of always that curiosity of wanting to know the behind the scenes and what's there. Like, you see someone on the internet, they're a regular person, but because you're seeing them on their thing, it's kind of like, oh, they're a celebrity. They're not a celebrity, but they're putting something out there. They're a creator, and then you go hunt and find dirt on them, or not dirt, but
what they're really like.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what I find with podcasting.
Connect with them human wise.
Yeah. See, I think what you're explaining is very similar to my connection to podcasting and why I enjoy it. Like, I obsessively listen to podcasts all day. Like, pretty much I knocked out 3 today. And like one of them was like 3 hours long.
Dang.
You know, like, I think that's what it is. Like, you know, and stuff you'd never hear about in long format. Like, and that's another thing too. I think that's, I guess, nice is, especially now that we're starting to put longer content out there as opposed to being shorter content. It seems like people are more willing to look for things and stuff like that. And also too, it seems like a younger generation is also looking at your sources and stuff like that. You know, like, is this a credible source, what they're saying? You know, and
is it ethical? Is it healthy? Are they nice? Like, that's another thing that's happening, or like I'm seeing that happens with YouTube, is like these YouTubers will become really popular, and then people like get to know them on their vlog channel, and then there's always something that comes out about them from their past. Like, somebody, like some hacker has like gone and like dug up their past, and then, or they find out their prank videos are fake and they're doing these not so nice things, and then the internet turns on them, which is really weird. I mean, it happens. It makes sense, but I don't know. It really is a weird cycle when you think about it. But I don't know where I was going with this.
No. Well, let me jump on to it, because I think I know where you're going as well, and it's something that I was just looking at beforehand, about like the whole stuff of Amy Schumer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, people really want to jump on her
Yeah.
for joke stealing right now, just because she's gotten over. But really, the things she's talking about are probably, very
Universal
things that like, because when I write stand up, like I'll come up with something. I'm like, there's got to be somebody more brilliant than me
that's worded
this far better, and I just have not seen their stand up. And if somebody famous has already said this, I guarantee there's probably 20 other people that have had a bit similar to this right now.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody else in this Charlotte community has got a bit similar to this already. But everybody wants to jump on this whole joke stealing, and everybody's go, oh, well, everybody got on Mencia real bad, but they didn't get on her. But like, no, Mencia was like word for word taking from Bill Cosby.
Oh.
Like, the evidence against him was far more damning than what's against Amy Schumer. Or at least just a little bit that I've seen. Except for maybe like her last special at the end. There was some stuff about like the jokes about the dolphin and the sexual positions one and stuff like that. Which
from the Apollo, Houdini or something.
The Houdini and stuff like that. Which I was like, I don't know, this is kind of like jokes I heard when I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Like, but like, okay, whatever. But I didn't realize Patrice had a whole bit about it as well, so, but it's one of those things like, why doesn't somebody notify you about that? But anyways, there are people that so want to turn on her so bad
because she's so
famous
right now.
But the thing is though, I could see how being a YouTube celebrity, when you're in that world of comment threads and discussion, that the turning of that community turning on you has got to be far worse, because you're already you're
already paying attention to them. They know you're paying attention to them.
Yeah, you're in that mix right there. Like it's not just a comment far away or a comment over here. It's like you've put yourself out there so much in this sea of piranhas that haven't bit you yet.
Yeah. Ooh, piranhas. That's a good one.
I'm good with analogies.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I'm good at. So, as far as like, what makes you want to put content out there? It seems like you're trying to figure out what it is you want to put out there. Is it, are you inspired by these people? Like, I want to do something myself?
I've always wanted to be a YouTuber. That's one thing it's fascinated me. I've always kind of liked their style. I like that they're putting it all out there and they're just being themselves. And I know that there's that scary part of it where people are going to say not nice things. I've had some not nice comments on my YouTube videos already. But there's just something about it that's always intrigued me. I've always wanted to be in front of the camera. So there's kind of an internal battle there too, because I was watching your podcast with Kelly and she said something about all these contradictions in ourselves. Like we all have these contradictions within ourselves, and it's a silly human thing. And I was like, that's what it is. I love the idea of YouTube. I love putting stuff out there. I like being open and honest, but at the same time, ultimately, I want to write a film or act in some films. And sometimes I feel like it's harder. Like when I see YouTubers that also do film and acting stuff, it's hard for me to leave behind the YouTube persona. And so it's hard for me to picture them as a character, or that this is a different thing. And it's hard for me to accept them going to a different format. So there's that struggle of, hey, I want to do this, but I also want to do this. Like what is the best way to go about working towards a goal? Like, I feel like YouTube is a way to put yourself out there and to work towards making films or television or whatever you want to do. But it also can detract from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a little bit, because that's, kind of what I've got going on here, like very similar to you. But not like wanting to be a morning show host, but I look at someone like a Chris Hardwick, or even like a Joe Rogan, or somebody that can like host a show, and like now that I've done stand up and I've started my journey in that comedy venture, like that's what I want to do. Like I really enjoy that, but I like the idea of also being on television and being the host of something.
Yeah.
But Chris Hardwick didn't get very good at, his podcast overnight. It's not like he just like had no experience whatsoever and just jumped in. It's not like he went from the set of Singled Out and then jumped in this podcast and he was great. And the same thing with Mark Maron. He didn't get, from being a stand-up and then just did his podcast and that was it. Like he had these steps in between, and he's usually like radio, and like, cause Chris Hardwick was on K-Rock for a while. Mark Maron was on Air America. And they had this experience of being on a microphone, talking to people, understanding those aspects of it. Now, with the decline of radio and being the way it is, me getting a job in radio seems a little pointless. But with the advent of and accessibility of everything, I can start a podcast.
Yeah.
And maybe the idea of doing this podcast will lead to me being on other podcasts, or me, being... And the reason it's on a video is I have to do an introduction where I have to look right into the camera, I have a ton of personality, plug my dates, and I have to do it all in one take. And it's giving me that practice. And I'm far better now today at, 50 plus episodes than I was on episode 1. So obviously that's how I'm getting practice. So I see this as practice as well. But at the same time too, when people like Google search, oh, let's see the Jake Manning, he's not very good, and they're looking at episode 3.
Yeah.
So there's that worry, and also too, I'm basically trying to figure it out by myself. It's not like I'm working for a professional outfit. I'm teaching myself how to do this by myself. So I understand that. So I get you when you say that, like there's that sense of like, oh, I don't know if this is quite the right thing to do. But the thing is, you're putting yourself out there,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to do that. You got to be putting yourself out there and be accessible to people, and that's definitely something you're doing right now. So
People got to find you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have to, just can't be, when they do find you, you have to have a little bit of something behind you.
Proof. You got to have proof.
Proof, and you have to have a little bit of, you got to have the chops, and you also have the resume behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Mark Maron had all those years on Air America. Chris Hardwick had all those times on, K-Rock, talking to people, interviewing guests, just in a morning show format on radio. Now he gets the opportunity to do that in a long form. So he's at least got a little bit of those experiences that transfers over. So that's hopefully what this is for me in the future, is to get myself to doing that. It's not like anybody's just going to scoop me right out of the wrestling ring, like, oh, here you go, here's a TV show.
Here's your radio show.
Exactly. Or here's,
you look like you have a nice voice.
Yeah, exactly. Here's your thing.
Yeah.
But you have to bridge those gaps.
Mm-hmm.
I completely understand that. But like you say that, what might not achieve your goal, but obviously you have an idea of a goal. Like what's the big overall goal?
It's different every day. That's the problem. That's what I'm trying to figure out. My dream job would be to be like Kelly Ripa, Ella DeGeneres, have a morning show, whatever. But my sister told me not too long ago, I say not too long ago, it was a couple years ago, that when she asked me when I was younger what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I said I wanted to make movies as funny as Mrs. Doubtfire. And I had never remembered saying that. I got off track and I was like, I'm going to be an education major. I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a banker. Blah, blah, I'm going to be a journalist. No. None of those worked out. Ended up finding my way back to media arts and filmy things. But that is one of my goals. I would like to write a feature film comedy and produce it and put it out there and see where that goes. Mm-hmm. But I'd also like to do this morning show thing, but I also want to be a YouTuber. So it's like trying to figure out, I need to do a little soul searching, honestly, and figure out what is the ultimate goal. But I guess I'm trying to figure out how to bridge all those into one, if I could. Like what, because everything's kind of crossing over now. Yeah,
and that's likely where I was going to lead us to anyways, is that everybody's doing a million things right now.
Yeah.
Like that's the part of the reason I wanted to sit down and talk to you. Not just because, I said earlier, I belittled you and said, I was just looking for a pretty girl to talk to. I didn't mean to belittle you in that way. But the fact that you do so many different fascinating things, it seems like there's a lot of people, especially of your age and your generation, that are doing a bunch of different things and putting themselves out there in different venues and just seeing what sticks. Mm-hmm. I think those are the people that are successful. They do this and they do this and they've got this going on. And, that's why I do improv. That's why I do stand-up. That's why I do this. And I still do the wrestling because it ups my profile on all of those. Mm-hmm. My thought process is, I'm not as good a wrestler as I used to be anymore. That's for sure. That's a fact. I just saw the footage. Trust me, I'm not.
So why do you, why? Why do you say that you're not as good a wrestler as you?
Oh, I'm not doing it as much as I used to anymore. Oh. That's like a big thing. Like I'm starting to see, like there's a little bit of rust there. The timing is going to go very fast, very soon. But also too, like, I'm basically wrestling on one leg right now.
Yeah.
I'm cautious of it. I'm definitely seeing that right now. I would say I'm about 85%, but at the same time too, a lot of my career, I made a lot of missteps. I was probably spent most of it drunk and in pain.
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah, I was a cliche, and I was not a nice person, nor did I have a good attitude. But at the same time too, like there was a time where I felt like I was hitting my stride, and I'm definitely not in that right now. Stand up, I just started. I'm brand spanking new. I'm begging people just to put me on stage.
Did you do the class?
Yes, I did.
You did? How was it?
It was good. What I can say about the class is they tell you what all the bad habits are right away. What everybody runs into when they do it for like the first 2 years. Like the first class is probably the most valuable thing in the entire class, is they give you a rundown and a list of like, this is what this, and if you want to do this, you want to do this. They just lay it all out for you. That's really what you're getting, is somebody to lay it all out for you. And then they help you write 3 minutes of professional material.
Oh, 3 minutes? It's not
Yes.
5 minutes?
If it's good, you
Then they'll let
take
you.
it. I took it. They said 3, but when I got up on stage, I took all bit of 5
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, but I
just signed up for that for the April one, and I've started putting together stuff. I think I probably
it's
have
good.
2 minutes.
A lot of people like talk bad about it, and a lot of people talk bad about comedy classes. But like, there's one club in town, and the people that are running it, they book people for shows. So, in wrestling, that's the one thing that I learned. There's a lot of times I've missed out, or I couldn't get opportunities into one promotion because they were helping their students and they were getting those people. So if the people that are running the class are going to book anybody, they're going to book somebody that took the class before. If it's down to me or somebody else and the talent's the same, they're going to pick the person that probably took their comedy class. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
And also too, like I said, they put you on the fast track, and they make it very clear that's what they're doing. But they show, they tell you to do this and maybe put this in there, and they give suggestions. But then after that class, it's all up to you. Like everybody from my class doesn't do it anymore. I'm the last person left out of my class.
Last comic standing.
Pretty much. But that's what everybody says is usually, it's whoever does it the longest usually ends up being the best, because you're around.
Yeah.
Everybody else just quit because they realize how
Hard it is.
silly and ridiculous. And once you start doing open mics at Crown Station on a Wednesday or Jackalope Jacks on a Tuesday, and like you're just questioning while you're telling these jokes, I'm like, is this even like worth anybody's time? Is this worth my time? And but you're still saying words, and you're still saying your jokes that you've said dozens of times before, and you're just like, I don't know, maybe this will pay off. I don't know. Let's keep going. Hit this punchline, and and then you just kind of figure it out. Like I'm finally at a point now that I'm getting on some people's shows and stuff like that, or I feel like I'm good enough that I could be on people's shows right now, as opposed to suffer on the open mics. But at the same time, too, Charlotte's a good place for that. We have open mics Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Actually, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go down to Fort Mill, open mic there. And then Saturday, there's one, Smelly Cat. And outside of football season, the Comedy Zone starts running a lot of stuff on Sunday. May they be Fight Nights, 180 Seconds, Funny on the Fly, a lot of other shows that, local comedians local comedians usually can get on.
Oh, cool.
And then after that, the hope is to eventually MC for some of these celebrity shows, either at the main club or down in Fort Mill. I'm probably pretty close to that, but I might be a few months away from getting to that point. But I'm at least at the point right now that I feel like I could confidently ask for those spots.
Yeah.
After suffering for a year.
So how many nights are you doing open mics?
3 or 4.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Whew.
And then probably...
That's impressive.
And I used to write an hour every morning, but now what I've done is I've showed up a half an hour early to the open mics and write for half an hour there, and then sometimes I now know everybody's jokes by now, though I'm writing during the open mic, so I'm getting 2 hours of writing at night while I'm at the open mic, And
Is
like
the same people? The
a lot, you'll see a lot.
Like traveling?
Yeah. I'm usually seeing everybody
Aww.
on quite a frequency.
It's kind of like a little family.
Yeah, but we don't really get along on that
Oh.
It's not improv, which I started about a year ago, which is the other thing that I started, which I feel like I'm now getting to a point where I'm okay at.
Yeah.
Which like I started in January, well
Yeah.
before you guys did, because technically I'm a part of your guys' group.
But you were before us.
I was well before you guys.
Yeah.
Like well before. Like I was just kind of, me and Raj started together. Mm-hmm. But like everybody left from our class and we just dissipated. And about the time we were supposed to get our student show, things changed. We were supposed to go to Harold's, and then that changed. And then they just were like, well, go in the class with these new people. And me and Raj just started showing up. And then I'm not even for sure if Kelly even knows that I started in January.
You started before.
or I started with you guys. But like it was like January. It was like when did we have our first show? I think it was like August.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like 8 months before I'd ever had my first show.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Like they didn't even throw me in and anything before. But a little bit had to do with my wrestling schedule picked up for a short period of time because that's when my knees started to feel a little bit better after, tearing the ACL. But so I
feel like our class is kind of like, I don't know if it's just the season, but I feel like it's kind of dissipating. Like some people aren't coming back, or
but you still have hung on to a core nucleus, a good bit, because I've seen 3 other classes dissipate before you guys.
Like completely?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like there's 2 that just, the one just after me and Raj just gone. One after, I think maybe one person, I'm trying to think who it would have been, but that almost incinerated as well. And then I think then I was like put in the Sundays, so I don't know if there was a class before you guys or not. But yeah, like there was 2 classes just disappeared, gone.
Dang.
Yeah. But long and short of what I was trying to get to, I do all those things, and I'm not good by any stretch of my imagination at any of them, even the ones I've been doing for quite some time, and even this podcast as well. So would be the 4th thing. But the idea is that I combine all those things together. Now that's an impressive package. If somebody's doing all 4 of those things,
dabbling.
Yeah.
More than dabbling. It's more than dabbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something's going to hit and something better. But ideally, my goal, there's maybe I do this or maybe I do that. But for me, it's very clear. If I could do stand up for the next 10 years, that's where the fun's at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't have to deal with nobody. That's like your own boss, and you do your own thing and you say what you want.
No, what about that schedule for you? Because that's nights, like you go out at night, and then do you I
have to go in at work in the morning and stuff like that. Luckily, I can get away with murder at that office.
That helps.
Hence why I refer to that as my dark secret.
Gotcha.
So, but I pick and choose my hours, so that's my thing with that.
Nice.
But
that's awesome.
Yeah, but that's it's like back to what you said before. You got all these things going on. You do all those things, and you don't have to be stand out at just one or the other. It's the fact that you do all those things.
Try to put it in a package.
That's what makes you interesting, Alex, is you have all those things that you're trying and you keep going, and that's why I wanted to sit down and talk with you. So you're doing all these things.
Thanks.
So
it's just fun. I get bored if I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I need to do something to work towards my career. My day job is also career oriented. I'm learning about the post-production. Learning about post-production and how you distribute things and license things, but it's also traditional media. So I'm learning all about traditional media, but then everything I do outside of that is not that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how to help my job with what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
We'll describe your job, and then maybe because that's what everybody's probably clueless on.
I work for a kids television show, and it's a big kids brand, but it was never picked up by Nickelodeon, Disney, or PBS. Mm-hmm. But it did have a lot of popularity in Australia, where it competed with the Wiggles. It was a successful show. And we have carriage in Spanish on Telemundo, and it does fairly well for an independent brand. But we're trying to get into the digital market. We've started a YouTube page, and it's doing really well. But we've outsourced it to India. So this Indian multi-channel network company has control over our YouTube, and they're getting millions of views. And I'm like, how are you doing that? But then my boss is like, we should do this on the internet, and we should do this. And I'm like, it doesn't really work that way. She'll are they saying things like make us a viral video? Because I hate that. Or it's just the way she'll want to word things, and she's like, oh, we should do this, and I'm like, that's not. It's really hard to market a preschool brand on the internet, because when I think internet, I'm thinking, I know everybody's on the internet, but when I'm thinking things go viral, it's because it relates to it's preteens to 40 something. Mm-hmm. Those are the main people that I feel are on the internet and sharing things constantly, and they're not really they're not seeking out a preschool television show to share oh, they're on this new network, or look at this ABC rhyme. I don't know. I'm just,
you have to be very specific with your focus as opposed to broad, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird. I'm not a marketing person, so I'm learning about marketing. But she'll ask me, she's like, "You do YouTube, you do this. What do you think we should do?" And I'm like, "Our YouTube channel is already doing extremely successful because of whatever voodoo that they're doing over in India." But I'm also kind of like, she's like, "I don't know if these are real." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know if these views are real either because I don't know that millions of people are sitting down watching a dog sing ABC." It's very confusing. But I forgot where I was going with this again. Jeez Louise. I needed more coffee today.
Well, stick with it. Like you're about ready to crack the code on like how people get millions of views.
No, I have no idea.
Okay, I thought you were just trying to tell me the answer and you forgot it.
Well, okay, I did do some more research.
Oh, please.
On this.
But
But I hate talking about it because I'm like, is this one of those things you're not supposed to talk about? Like, is this like that website that you're not supposed to name?
what do you think? CIA is going to break in here?
No, I'm scared. Like anonymous or somebody on the internet might come after us or something. I don't know. The internet's a scary place.
Yeah.
But I was Googling like, how do you get views on your YouTube, and how can you tell if these views are real? And I came across multiple sources that said sometimes it's a necessary evil that you have to buy views for your channel, and that hurts my soul a little bit. Like when my boss talks about our YouTube channel for rags, I'm like, I'm not sure if I was supposed to say that. She's not gonna watch it. I don't tell her about any of my side stuff. I tell her about it, but I don't let her watch it. But she talks about our YouTube, and she's like, we have 17 million views, and I'm like, but they're not real, and it hurts my soul because YouTube is something that I care about so much. So to think that people get successful because they buy views, it kind of hurts a little bit, but at the same time I'm like, maybe that's the business side of it that I don't understand.
Because I think about that too, because I just joined Instagram, and I keep getting stuff on Instagram like buy more views, more followers and stuff like that, and I know Instagram is set up a certain way that your hashtags, and then also I've been told it's about you got to make sure that you delete off all your spam bots, because it's all about interactions per members. So like if 30% of your members are interacting with your posts and they're liking it, you know, it boosts you up a little bit more. Where if like let's say you had, 1,000, like right now I have like 700, and like let's say 30% of them, interacting with them and liking and doing whatever and interacting with me. But then let's say I got up to about 1,000 and most of them were bots and non-existent things, then that would drop the percentage down lower. And then when they do searches, because there's the search button and random stuff shows up, mine would be less likely to show up because there's less interaction between me and all the percentage of my followers.
Oh.
That's something I was told recently as well.
Interesting. I had never heard that. That's good to know.
Yeah, so you got to make sure you delete all the spam bots. But when you buy followers, aren't all of them just kind of spam bots anyways?
Yeah, that's what I thought. And that's the thing that YouTube will do cleanses, like where they get rid of fake views. But now I think that they've gotten so sophisticated that maybe people are actually like getting paid to just sit in a room and watch a certain number, like a certain amount of YouTube videos for a certain amount of minutes so that it comes across as a real view. I don't know. Like I don't understand it completely, and it makes me sad. But I went to VidCon a couple years ago, and I remember there was like some controversy about a big YouTuber had bought views originally and something like people get really mad about it, but at the same time these other things are like, yeah, you have to do it. I'm like, what's the answer?
I know. And the thing is, it's gotten so complex, and at the same time too, like some people got in like real early on, like YouTube, or got in on Instagram, or got in on Twitter.
If you're the OG YouTuber, you're good.
Yeah, and then you're good, and then just breaking it now is almost impossible and stuff like that. And like, I think about that all the time. Is like, do you have to buy followers? But then it's like, I don't know if I really.
It hurts. It hurts your soul.
Yeah. And it's also too like the monetization thing is interesting as well. So I deal a lot with copywriting issues and stuff like that. I'm constantly, most of the time on YouTube, it's for taking off content that we own, and a lot of times they've got ads on their page, and they're making, they're making pennies, but they're making pennies off of our content that we're trying to sell on our website, and there's 400 views. That's, of the 400, you could probably theorize that maybe 10 of those people or 2 of those people would have bought the DVD or download. And then it's like, that cuts into everything. And then we used to have, since we actively did that so much, we had monetization on our YouTube page for a while, which allowed us to give people money to do a YouTube show on our channel. Because because every time that they're going to tweet it out, they get a lot of views, and then the monetization for that and the money that we're giving them to produce this content basically covers what we're paying them. Because this YouTube video made X amount of dollars, and we're making this, so we're only, so it's great. So more people come to our page, and that's where we put our previews and our advertisements for all our products. But there's also this thing of click bombing, where if you've got monetization on your YouTube page, this is how people can fuck you over, is they can click on your ads and then keep clicking on all your ads, because every time you click on an ad, you get pennies or whatever. But if somebody keeps clicking and clicking and clicking, and does like 100 clicks or 30 clicks or whatever it is on one particular video, and keeps clicking on an ad, YouTube will cut off your AdSense and say that you yourself are trying to click to up your revenue, and then they won't allow you to get your AdSense account back. We just do that. People that are mad that we're taking down our content that they're putting up for free. There were more than a few wrestling promotions YouTube pages rated that way, because they were very active in taking back their content offline, because people felt that the content was like, oh no, I paid for the DVD, I can put it up for free, or I just I need. But it's like, no, if you put it up, nobody's gonna buy the download, nobody's gonna buy the DVD or the Blu-ray or whatever we're selling it at. Nobody's gonna buy it if you're gonna put it up for free.
Why wouldn't they just do a copyright claim?
Well, but that's the thing, we're copyright claim, and then they put a strike on their YouTube account. But people are getting so petty that they're getting a strike on their YouTube account. And we've had people's whole YouTube accounts shut down because they'll put it, they'll take an interview and they got to break it up over 10 minutes. So by the time I get through 6 files or 3 files, their YouTube account's gone. And then they get mad because they took down their YouTube account, and then they do the click bomb. And
wow. I didn't know about it. That's insane.
Yeah.
See, the internet's scary.
Yeah, it's really scary.
There's so many things you can do.
Yeah.
Click bombing. Interesting.
We just got our monetization money back from YouTube, and we were making okay money on our YouTube page, and we were putting stuff up all the time, and we were putting up free matches there too. That's the thing too, is we were actually putting up free content and paying, and wanted to put more to it. We were even doing the rental program and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
And we were doing okay. We were very happy with it, and we would have probably put more content up, but because of that, and then YouTube would not reinstate our AdSense account whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. I freaked out once because I accidentally clicked my own ad, by accident. I was checking something on my page, and then it was they do the ads towards you, and it was a cute dress, and I was like, ooh, and I clicked it, and then I was like, I'm gonna get suspended. So I was like, they know. You
have to do it. Well, the thing is, they wouldn't know if it's you or not. They would just suspend you, but you'd have to do it 20 times.
Yeah.
Excessive in a certain amount of minutes. You could click it once every other day, and you'd be fine.
I'm gonna do that now.
Don't take my word for that. I haven't tried that, but
I'll test it out.
Yeah, okay, you test it out and let me know.
I just found out today that over my whole lifetime on YouTube, I think I uploaded my first video in 2007. The whole time span, I mean, granted, it's been sporadic, but I've earned $45. So exciting.
Yeah.
One video had earned I think the most, it was $1 and something. And it was a video I posted a long time ago about an accent tag. People like tag videos.
Okay.
Who knew?
I think I just got my first payment shipped out to me today.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's but I'm updating my YouTube page. That's another reason I want to sit down and talk to you and get your thoughts as a consumer, because I'm renovating my YouTube page greatly. I'm putting up free matches, clips of my comedy, and then eventually, probably by the time this podcast goes up, I will be putting all my podcasts, the video format, on YouTube as well. So I've kind of kissed and made up with YouTube. When I first started this, I was like, fuck you, I'm just doing Vimeo. So I was still mad. But now that they've done well for our company now, and they've reinstated everything.
Kissed and made up.
Kissed and made up with YouTube.
No.
So
it's hard to stay away.
it is. It really is. And like I said, the younger people are. I know more people now that say they don't have any cable or internet. They just watch YouTube videos and
Or Netflix,
and they just have a Roku and they're hooked up to the online and that's all they have.
Mm-hmm.
I know more people like that than anything else. So that's where the people are.
They're on the internet.
Those are the people I want to talk to. Those are the people I want to get to. So
yeah.
Well, as we wind down here, the big theme of this podcast, and I get people from different levels and points in their careers and lives and stuff like that, and definitely this is another reason why I want you in here is to discuss this part, because it's because it's the idea of success. Like, what is it? Can you achieve it? How do you define it? Do you think you'll be happy when you achieve it? Like, just your thoughts generally on success.
Thoughts generally on success. I think success is when you're happy and satisfied with what you've done and where you're going. I think success is when you're excited every morning to work on what you want to do and trying different things, learning every day. I think that's success. I think when you stop learning, then you're kind of done. Mm-hmm. I think that's a quote that somebody, I think I read it recently, I don't know who said it, but it said something about when you quit learning, that's when you've died or something. That's dark. Don't
look at me for quotes. I messed up an Einstein quote on my YouTube show earlier. Like,
it's hard. So many people have said so many things.
Like, exactly.
It's hard to keep it straight. And then on the internet, half the time they're not right.
Yeah.
So there's that. I saw one that was not ironic that said something about mistakes, and it was spelled like mistakes. Like you eat steak. I was like, oh. But yeah, I think success is when you're happy and you're excited to learn and keep going every day, and you are reaching your goals consistently. I mean, that's kind of what I associate with success is happiness.
And does money have any existence in that?
Well, yeah. Yes, it does. Because money can't buy happiness, but money can buy lattes and a roof over your head and
I like you put lattes before roof over your head. I like that you picked.
Well, of course, naturally.
Yes.
Lattes are life. But yeah, if you can figure out how to do what you love and provide a living for yourself, that is success. If that's what makes you happy. Like I get really sad thinking about some of my friends that are doing things that they're just like, ugh. But they do it because it's money. I'm like, that's sad. I'm like, what do you like to do? I'm like, I don't know. They don't know what they like to do.
That's scary.
Yeah.
The people that don't know what they like to do.
I'm like, how do you not know? Like, you've had 20-something years to figure this out. I mean, it makes sense. Like, sometimes it takes a long time to figure things out, especially if you don't know yourself. And that can be a lifelong process, too. You change every single day. But yeah, I think that's really scary, is if you never find out what makes you happy. That's sad.
I agree.
That's my wish for the world, is that everyone is happy and finds what makes them happy and finds love and stuff. World peace.
And also find out about the things you're doing. Like, plug your YouTube page and the other ways people can contact.
Oh, my YouTube page is Alex Anderson, or if you go old school, if you search Love-A-Lot 347, LUVALOT 347, I'll pop up in probably some of my older, really strange videos. But yeah, that's my YouTube channel. And then there's my Twitter, Alex Anderson, AlexAnderSonn, 2 N's. I'm there, and I tweet things sometimes. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming into my house. Sorry for the confusion before, and sorry for the phone calls.
That's okay.
I am far more professional than what I have shown to you today.
I'm sorry for my incomplete thoughts. Like, I got nervous. Like, I was like, yeah, I have a point, and then I got into it and I was like, no, I forgot where this was going because I remembered it was being recorded. I'm like, oh God.
It's okay. Like every time you dropped the ball, I was ready to recover it because I was headed in the same place.
Improvise.
Yes. Help your partner.
Got your back.
I got your back. Worst podcast ever.
Worst podcast ever. Yes.